So make a slip knot and chain whatever number of chains you want. It's actually depending on the size of your phone bag you want. In my case, I have made up to 15 chains. Then you must start making double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. You can mark that as the first stitch to keep track of your work. Now continue making double crochet in each chain all the way until end of that chain. Actually into the second last chain of that chain, because into the last chain, that's where you're going to place 3 double crochet. As I said earlier, you need to make 3 double crochet into that last chain. And after that, you'll need to start working on the opposite side of the chain by starting into the very first stitch of the chain on the other side of the chain, which is actually the opposite, and just continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way until the end. And make sure you are grabbing only 1 loop, do not grab 2 loops. Make 2 double crochet into the same stitch of that last stitch before you make a slip stitch. On top of that stitch, you have removed the stitch marker. Chain 1 to close, and just make the same double crochet into that very same stitch you have removed the stitch marker. Do not turn, just continue working in kind of like circles. And remember to always keep marking that first stitch to keep track of your work. Now continue making 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way until you reach that stitch with a stitch marker. You can remove the stitch marker to slip stitch to join your work as usual, and chain 1 and just repeat the previous round. Make a double crochet into that very same stitch you have made the slip stitch, and always mark it with a stitch marker to keep track of your work. And just continue making double crochet in each stitch all the way until you reach that stitch with a stitch marker again. Try to see if your phone can fit in. In my case, since I'm filming with my phone, so I'm using my phone cover because it's having the same size as my phone, just to see if it can fit in the bag. Then once you are satisfied with the results, which is fitting, then you can just continue with the process until your bag can fully accommodate your phone. As you can see, I ran out of this yarn color, so I'm going to switch to a different yarn color. So just leave that double crochet halfway like that and complete it with a different yarn color if you're also using scrappy yarn like me. If you're using that yarn and you have enough of it, just continue using that same yarn color. You can only do that procedure if you are using 2 different yarn colors or you have run out of the other yarn color like I did, because this project is a scrappy project, whereas I'm just using leftover yarn to avoid you wasting my yarns. And still just stick to the pattern by making normal double crochet in each stitch all the way until you are satisfied with the size of your bag. Remove the stitch marker to slip stitch into that same stitch you have removed the stitch marker to join your work as usual. And this is my last round, so I'm just going to slip stitch, chain 1 and cut off the yarn because this is my last round to move on to the next step, which is attaching the back strap, or just actually to make it from scratch, but I'm not going to make it separate. Trying to see again how my phone can fit in this bag before I can cut off the yarn. If you're satisfied with how your phone can fit in the bag, then you can cut off the yarn. Next, I'm going to make the strap. Actually, I have to mark the middle stitches on both sides of the bag. Just one middle stitch on both sides. To make the back strap, make a slip knot. And insert the hook in any of the marked stitch on either side. Pull it through like that to join. Chain 1 to make sure your yarn is fully secured. Then chain whatever number of chains you want. It depends how long you want your strap. In my case, I have chained up to 80 chains. Just continue doing that until you are satisfied with the length of your back strap. Then once you are satisfied, just try to make sure your back strap is not twisted before you attach it on the other side. You can attach it into that same stitch you have marked with a stitch marker. You can remove the stitch marker first before you join the strap, or you can just do the same thing I have done. Join with a slip stitch, then chain 1, or make a slip stitch into the next chain to make sure your back strap is fully secured. Chain 1, chain your work, and start making single crochet back into the chain by start making single crochet into that very first chain, and continue making single crochet in each chain all the way until end of that chain. So at the end, slip stitch into that first stitch from the strap, chain 1, and you can cut off the yarn. Always chain 1 to secure your chain or your yarn. Then chain whatever number of chains you want. In my case, I have only chained up to 8. Then just try to attach it on the other side. In my case, there is 2 stitches in between. Chain 1, and you can cut off the yarn. Next, we are going to make the button, and to make the button you have to start by making a magic ring. Then insert the hook inside that magic ring, yarn over, pull through, chain 1, then make puff stitch into that magic ring, yarn over, insert the hook inside, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, again insert the hook into that same magic ring, yarn over, pull through 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, and just continue doing that all the way until you have probably 5 loops on the hook before you yarn over and pull through all 5 loops and chain 1 to secure your puff stitch. Then do it once more again. You can repeat that as much as you want. It depends to how big you want your button to be. Then once you are satisfied with the size of your button, you can slip stitch on top of that first chain 1 to close your work and chain 1. Then you can cut off the yarn, but try to leave a little bit long yarn tail because that's the one you're going to use to attach that button to your bag. I'm attaching my button into the second round from the top of the bag. Just make sure your button is fully attached. Make sure you have tight enough before you can cut off the yarn. Then after that you can weave in all your ends. And thank you for watching.